Hi guys, and welcome to another boring video where I stand here and talk to you. No, it's not! It's bingo time! Well then. So let's all ignore the fact that I still don't know how bingo machines work, and this is like the 6th month in a row, I think, that I have done this. No, it can't be. It could be. Anyway, hi guys and welcome back to Cat Talks. My name is Kat, this is the place where we talk, and today we will be talking about my September TBR. So let's get to it. This was our bingo card last month, and I'm about to pick a new bingo card. And it is this one. I still don't really have a good way of like getting them out. I think you have to do it this way, but then they fall out. So I'm not an expert, but the first ball is 32. Alrighty, so the first roll was a 32, and that means an adult fantasy. So I immediately chose VESchwab's Vicious. This is the, should I stand here or here? You should see a poll up here. If you press that, you can vote. But this is the story of two young gentlemen who are in college or university. They discover a trick to get themselves to have superpowers, and then several years into the future, one of them is in jail serving a really long time and just coming out, and the other one is a successful businessman, and it's about revenge and it's about friendship gone wrong, and I'm really excited to read this. Next ball, please. The second wall is 19. Alright, so because that is a 19, it means it is a contemporary or literary, but I need to roll again to find out what colour it's going to be. To get the colour, so the extra ball is 15. And of course it is a yellow, so because it is a yellow, I have decided to go for The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. This is a hate-to-love romance about two of the bridal party who are the only two who don't come down with food poisoning and decide to go on the honeymoon anyway, so they have to go and pretend to be a couple, and I couldn't think of a more yellow cover, so I'm really excited to have this. Unfortunately, it does need to be back in the library by the 4th of September. It is unnegotiable, unrenewable, so I better get my reading on because it's a thick boy. It is actually, it doesn't have page numbers. Oh no, that's just because it's after the acknowledgements. It's about 400 pages long, so better be good is all I'm saying. I better read this in like a day. And the ball that gave us the colour was a 15, and this is a standalone literary or contemporary. The two books that I was considering are The Unlikely Adventures of the Shergill Sisters and The Secret History by Donna, I don't remember her name. Donna something. It's here anyway. You can read it. Use your eyes, people. So The Unlikely Adventures of the Shergill Sisters follows three English-born. So the three sisters, they don't really like each other. They haven't since they were growing up. They are British. They grew up in Britain, but they have been asked by their mother on their deathbed to go together to kind of like go to this temple together and pay their respects at this temple. And they don't really know how to say no. I mean, for one of them, she doesn't want to say no to her mother. For another one, it's like the freedom that she needs to make a decision. And the other one I think is hiding from something rather dodgy online. So it sounds fun, it's very short, and it's, you know, it's a super cute cover, so I'm into it. And then The Secret History is about a group of university students who have been taught by a very charismatic teacher that a certain way of thinking, and then someone dies. I actually have no idea, but this has been on my TBR for a really long time. I'm not sure which one of these I will read, maybe both, but for now I'm going to put this one on the TBR for September. Is 64. So this is an A to Z title pick in the classic or historical genre. Now this includes historical romances as well as some modern classics. They can't just be any modern classics, they have to have been out for at least like 15 years and considered a classic. But let's see what the phone says, which letter we should pick. And the phone picked the letter A. So I've decided to finally tackle the behemoth that is Atlas Shrugged. Now I have this on audiobook and I have a very long flight coming up.
It's not that long, I'm a wuss.
Of about 3 hours in September. So hopefully, you know, those 6 hours plus some going to work time and some coming back from work time and some walking time and some running time will add up to me finishing this audiobook. It is freaking huge. The book itself is over 1,000 pages, so it's gonna take me some time. But I feel like because I'm trying not to pick that many books, obviously bingo will be the maximum number of books that I read, maybe plus 1 or 2, depending on like which review copies come in. So I'm feeling pretty confident that I can finally tackle this behemoth that has been on my TBR for a very, very long time. Next ball, please. And then we have 26. Wow, you guys have been really unlucky so far. And here we have 26, which is a NetGalley mixed media. For this one, I have gone with an English comic book called Mooncakes, which is available on NetGalley, or I got it from NetGalley, obviously. And this is a fantasy. It is about a young girl who is kind of like trained to be a witch under her grandma, I think, and then there's a boy in trouble. I don't know much about it. I'm kind of willing to go in blind. It has some great reviews, so hopefully I'll add one more to that. 28. Ooh, and 28, that's another mixed media, and this one is a middle grade or YA mixed media. And for this I have decided to choose the Swedish option for the mixed media. So remember, mixed media can be graphic books, it can be comic books, it can be mangas, or it can be a book in Swedish. And it's been a while since I've read a Swedish book, so let's jump in. I have 3 options. For 2 owned and 1 library. So the 2 owned, I have the horror book Room 213. I don't know much about this because it's in Swedish, but strange things are happening in Room 213. She or he, Ingelin, who knows, Ingeling Angerborn is a very prolific YA and middle grade author here in Sweden. They have a whole bunch of their books in the library, so if I enjoy it, I can go back and get more. And this is actually an ex-library copy because I think they bought like 17 copies when it first came out. It was that popular. So I am looking forward to reading this. Then we have a book that I bought when it was discounted in a bookshop, and that is the Rose Thorn's Key. Rose Thorn's Key by Tone Almhjell. This is a fantasy. There's something wrong with the house, and I'm reading in Swedish, so bear with me. It's a portal story, it's got a YA protagonist, and it's a very pretty cover. But that's all I know about this one, clearly, because you've just saw me read the back of it. And then finally we have an actual middle grade, and this is a classic. This is Sunnanäng. Sunnanäng? Anyway, by Astrid Lindgren. I don't know anything about this one either. I know that I have read Astrid Lindgren books in the past. Please don't come at me. I know I have a lot of Swedish watchers and I know my Swedish sucks, and look, I'm not reading the book aloud to you, and I think that that's kind of a good thing. But this Astrid Lindgren also wrote Pippi Longstocking. She also wrote Emil in Lundberg. I'm so scared. My favourite Astrid Lindgren is Bröderna Lejonhjärta, which is also about 2 brothers or 2 siblings, so I'm into this, and I think that this one, because it's so short as well, and because a lot of the pages are illustrations, this one I'm more likely to finish, so I'll probably grab this one. It's only roughly 100 pages, so it's really short, and Astrid Lindgren is one of the best or most prolific children's authors in Sweden, so I definitely think I will be picking this one and adding this to the TBR for September. A little 2. I don't know why, but the small numbers are always so cute to me. So a 2 is adult sci-fi, and for this one I will be buddy reading with Zach over at Zach Tries to Read, The Parable of the Sower by someone really famous. I need to buy this book. They didn't have it in the library, which is unfortunate, and I'm really interested and keen to get into it. So this is the book I'm going to pick for adult sci-fi. Okay, I'm going to try and roll it the other time next time, but this is a 39. So 39 is another front colour prompt, so we need to roll again to find out what colour and what extra book I will be reading this month. I didn't roll the other way, but that all cancelled itself out anyway, so... Oh, that one worked. This one is a 46. 46 means that the front cover must have grey, black or white on it. And obviously 39 is a fantasy. For this one I'm going to be reading a review copy for I Was a Teenage Ghost Hunter. This was kindly sent to me as a review copy, obviously, and I'm really keen to get it in here. I know it's kind of a blue cover, but it's also kind of black and grey, so you know what, we're going with it. And then 46 was NetGalley non-fiction. Now last month when I rolled NetGalley non-fiction, I then failed to pick one, and it took me until the very end of the month to pick one. So this month I have actually picked a NetGalley non-fiction, and we are going with Harness the Power of Personal Branding and Executive Presence. Don't I have the executive presence right now? Yeah, I thought not. This I thought would be really good for me as I am continuing in my sales journey and selling my startup and things like that, trying to get some funding. So this would be a really good addition to my reading. If it hadn't been a NetGalley choice, I would have put The Executive Assistant because I'm dying to read that. Also, I'm really scared. I've just realized that like middle grade nonfiction might come up. What am I going to read for middle grade nonfiction if that comes up? Okay, 3 more rolls, guys. You've got this. Let's go. I rolled the wrong way again. It's a 1! We should be pretty safe. This is a kind of, except for Atlas Shrugged, a kind of a reasonable reading month so far. Okay, so I think I'm supposed to roll this way? I did it! I got one. It's a 10! Woohoo! For 10, we have a sci-fi series. So obviously I'm trying to continue series, so I have 2 book 2s to choose from here. We have The Dark Forest by Cixin Liu. This is the second book in the, I don't know what it's called. What's the series called, people? I don't think it has a series name. But it's the second book in the 3-Body Problem series. The 3-Body Problem dealt with a string of very suspicious suicides in the scientific community. They just started dropping dead, and when the police investigated, they were unable to find a conclusion, so they invited another scientist to join them in investigating what was going on, and this is the second book in that trilogy. And the second book of the other trilogy is Gemina, The Illuminae Files Part 2. So The Illuminae Files was the first book in the series. It's by Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman, and The Illuminae Files followed the story of 2 young people whose planet was destroyed the kind of like morning after, or the day after they broke up as a couple. They get put on different savior ships, which are speeding to bring news of the devastation of their planet to other people because they were attacked by a rival corporation. However, the rival corporation is obviously trying to kill them, and then so is the ship's AI. So it's incredible. You should go into Illuminae as blind as possible, but here's a short summary anyway. And this is book 2. So this follows 2 other young people, I believe, in a different part of the universe, so it's not really overlapping as far as I recall from other reviews, and I'm really keen to continue with this series. The Illuminae Files is all told in mixed media, so in reports, in security footage, details, or, you know, like scripts or chat logs or pictures, so I'm really keen to read further in this one. But this is a super hard choice, because the Gemina, like, I love the Illuminae Files, and the Dark Forest, I love the 3-Body Problem, so I'm going to say I'm going to put this one on my TBR because even though it is technically thicker, it's not thicker by much, and like I said, a lot of this is mixed media, so it's quite a quick read, whereas this is a thick beast. So I'm going to put this one on my TBR and put this one as like a backup TBR. Like if I run out of books, then I reach for this one. Does that make sense? A 21. All right, so 21 is a indie or Wattpad graphic novel or mixed media. So I did look briefly for Swedish books on Wattpad, but they didn't seem to be that many of them. So then I decided either to go for a Swedish fan fiction, which would involve me hiding my various pairings from you lot, or to go for an indie comic book. Now, I had a look online, and a lot of indie comic books, they use the label to describe anything that isn't DC or Marvel or one of the really big printing presses. So I have decided to apply that label as well, and we are going with Saga Volume 1. I have heard so many good and heartbreaking things about Saga, I know I'm going to cry, and I really want to read it. So this is kind of a space opera. There is a big intergalactical war between two peoples, and of course one soldier from each side have fallen in love and had a baby, and this is the graphic novel of how they are trying to survive in this world where their love is forbidden, trying to get out of the war, trying to get somewhere safe with their child. And yeah. I've heard that I'm gonna cry, so no makeup days only. Next ball, please. Only one more to go. And a 73. I'm sorry guys, I don't think you got a single ball that time. Hey, we made it to the last ball with only 2 extras. So 73 is a readathon prompt. I actually wasn't planning on doing any readathons this month because I feel like I personally need some time to relax. If you watch my vlog next week, you will see why. And I just, you know, I wanted some time to kind of just read my bingo picks and relax and do things that aren't reading, because I used to do that. But because this readathon that I'm thinking of in particular is 2 weeks long, I have decided to take part in the Scooby-Doo-a-thon, which is, Scooby-Doo was a fundamental part of my childhood. I've talked on this channel before very briefly about how seeing a group of people with gender equality and, you know, and just kind of like teamwork and friendship and embracing your differences. I mean, they were all white, I will give you that, but even so, like as a kid growing up in the UK, seeing a clever woman on TV who wasn't sexualized, who just wore glasses and wasn't more pretty when she took them off, that was a big part for me growing up. So yes, I agree that Scooby-Doo has some faults, including colonialism and kind of like the treatment of other races in Scooby-Doo, especially since it's set in America. But it was a fundamental part of my growing up, and I love it. I loved it as a kid. I used to watch it in Swedish when I was first learning Swedish, and so I have gone with that. And the prompt for this one, because none of these, wherever they've gone, seem to begin with an R, I have decided to answer the prompt, a book beginning with an R, and pick up The Raven Tower. This is a debut fantasy by Anne Lecce, and all I know about this is that a usurper has claimed the throne. There's a big political war, and there's a big political uprising because of this usurper, and then dark secrets are revealed while, you know, the rightful heir tries to reclaim his throne. So it sounds really good, it's got good praise, it's a new release. It's been compared to Sanderson, which I still haven't read any fantasy from, so why not read it? Here are 6 of the 12 books that I plan on reading in September of 2019. I hope you guys have a great reading month. If you're planning on participating in Scooby-Doo-a-thon, or if you're just kind of like having a chill month like me, let me know down in the comments down below. If you like the hat, tell me, because as I said in the last video I wore it in, it was expensive. And I hope you guys have a tasty cup of tea and an excellent book to lose yourself in. I will see you next week. Bye! Oh hey look, I did another video. You should definitely check this out. And if you're not already subscribed, here is the subscribe button.